Aquarius, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of June. So before I get started on the specifics of the month, this is going to be most applicable for your rising sign. It's also applicable for your sun sign and your moon sign. And so your rising sign is how other people perceive you, especially when they first meet you. And your sun sign is how you express yourself. And then your moon sign is how you process everything emotionally. And so listening to all of them really does kind of give you that holistic picture on how the month is going to play out for you. But looking here at the month of June, we have a lot of Gemini energy and a lot of Cancer energy. And so where this impacts you in your chart is your 5th and your 6th houses. So your 5th house, there's so many things covered within the 5th house, but it could be children, hobbies, short-term relationships. And so think of it as kind of that house of fun, these things that you enjoy doing in your free time. 6th house is your daily life, your daily routines. And so it would be the things that you do on a regular basis. So let's say you have a corporate job Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. That would be kind of a daily routine. So it's not just your work versus home either. Your hobbies could be included in that daily routine if you make regular time for those. And hobbies could be something like your fitness. Could also be like nutrition would be part of the 6th house, as well as fitness would be part of the 6th house. So you can kind of see the interaction here between your daily life and how you like to have fun. So jumping into the energy here, so Mercury enters Gemini. That's going to happen on June 3rd at 3:37 in the morning Eastern time. And so Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. Gemini loves details, loves to have conversation. So does Mercury. Mercury is a little bit more than just communication. It's also how you process everything. And so it's going to have both parts are going to come to light here, because it's not just about your communication style, but it's also how you receive that information, how you process that information. And so when Mercury enters Gemini, it's going to be conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. And so at the end of May, Jupiter moved into Gemini. It's there for about a year through June of next year. And so this is a really positive conversation between these two planets, because Jupiter wants to grow and expand. And for you, this is all sitting in your 5th house. So that 5th house of fun, growth and expansion. So if you were thinking maybe expanding a hobby or maybe having children or more children, something along those lines, that would be conversation that's highlighted right now. Mercury in Gemini will also be conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Uranus in Taurus for you impacts your 4th house of home. And so Uranus is one of those transformational planets. And so it likes to remove the debris is probably the best way to articulate the Uranus energy. But then in the sign of Taurus, it's a really grounding, practical type of removal. So things that just don't belong here anymore, they would be removed. That Taurus energy is focused on what you value, harmony, balance, very practical from that perspective. I like to see these two talking to each other in a positive way. So if we're looking at your growth that's maybe connected to having children, this would indicate that you're maybe making room for them in your home. Just putting that out there. That's not going to be true for everybody, but it could also be on the other side of it, where you're trying to make room in your home to be able to work on your hobbies more, something along those lines. We'll also have Mercury in Gemini sextile Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces for you. So let's talk about Neptune and Pisces, because this is all about your goals, your dreams. What is your ideal? And for you, what's your ideal financial situation? Because this is sitting in your 2nd house. This rules your 2nd house of personal finances. Think of the money that you already have, your investments, anything that you have that's of value resides in this 2nd house. So the conversations around kids, passions, hobbies, short-term relationships, it's creating some sort of opportunity here for you to have the financial security that you're looking for, or the bank account that you're looking for, to be able to invest and save, things like that. If you had thought about maybe as a side hustle, taking one of your passion projects and using it as a side hustle to make more money, this would be, I'm having conversations, I want to grow and expand that, I'm making room for it in my house, and now it's creating some sort of opportunity here for me to grow my finances. That would be one way that all of this could be kind of playing together. We'll also have Mercury in Gemini sextile Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so Pluto, another planet of transformation, retrograde indicates that the transformation is now going to be internal. And Pluto's been retrograde here for a little while. In the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius is liberating. So what structures don't belong here anymore? Aquarius is your energy. So this is your first house. This is your physical self. When you think about those changes that you want to make to who you are, how does all the conversations you're having around maybe children, passions, your hobbies, things like that, how is that creating some sort of opportunity for you to continue making changes to yourself? Is there a physical change to yourself that you want to make? That would be highlighted. I'm kind of going back to that whole pregnancy thing. That could absolutely be highlighted here, but that's not going to be true for everybody. Not everybody is in that place or they want to have kids right now, but I'm just putting that out there. Then we have the new moon in the sign of Gemini. That will happen on the 6th at 8:38 in the morning Eastern time. And so this new moons, and it's not just about the sun and the moon in this one. We also have Venus. They're all at the same degree point. Normally with a new moon, you've got the sun and the moon. They're on top of each other. They're at the same degree point. We actually have Venus that's also at 16 degrees of Gemini. So all three planets are at 16 degrees of Gemini. What this means is a lot of conversation, really detailed conversation around how you feel about things, what you value, what you want here, maybe what you want to bring together with that Venus energy, all sitting in your 5th house. Going back to your passions, your hobbies, maybe even children, all of that is being highlighted here. The sun and moon will also, well, and Venus, of course, conjunct Mercury in Gemini, but that's just more conversation. So it's really the same energy. And this one is a very loose conjunction, but it's pretty much already covered. What's interesting about this new moon is the conversations it's having with the North and South node. So the North and South node they're mathematical equations. They're eclipse points in the sky. We are in Aries Libra eclipse season, with Aries being the north node, Libra being the south node. And when we have this new moon, so the sun, the moon, and really Venus trine the south node in the sign of Libra. Yes, south node in Libra. This is a really easy flowing energy. So when it comes to what you value, expressing how you feel about what you value, what it is that you want here, Libra for you is sitting in the 9th house of growth and expansion. And so kind of going back again, what is it that you want to grow? What do you want to expand? This is going to feel really, really comfortable. This kind of feels like it's something that you've already thought about in the past. Now it's just giving you this opportunity to really go after it. This one here is going to be a very easygoing energy. It's going to flow. You're not going to have to put any effort into this one. The one you will have to put effort into is the sextile to the north node in the sign of Aries. That is sitting in your 3rd house. That is about communication and getting into the details. 9th house, very high level. 3rd house, very into the weeds kind of energy. And this, everything that you're talking about, that you're feeling, you're thinking, that you want and value within kids, hobbies, passions, things like that, it's now creating an opportunity for you to really step up and take action here, because that's Aries energy. Aries north node wants you to really do something here for yourself. Speak up. This would be 3rd house energy, speaking up. Could even be connected to short distance travel. If you maybe want to do something there, maybe have some conversations around that. It is requiring you to take some action because it is a sextile here. Then we'll also have the sun and moon in the sign of Gemini, square Saturn in Pisces. And again, Venus is in the mix too, but I'm focused more on the new moon energy. And so with that sun and moon, but all 3 of those planets are square Saturn in Pisces. The squares to both Saturn and Neptune in Pisces are going to be a reoccurring theme throughout the month until we get towards the end of the month. And so what this really means is that there is some sort of obstacle or challenge. So whatever it is that you value, you want to grow, you want to expand, there's something in this 5th house and what you want to accomplish here that's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to your financial goals. There's something connected to this Saturn energy. Saturn requires you to work. Saturn in Pisces, work for your dreams, quite literally, when it comes to your finances. It could be something as simple as you're trying to invest in some sort of hobby to make it a side hustle, and it requires some sort of upfront investment that might deplete your savings. That would be some sort of obstacle or challenge, because now you're kind of working in the opposite direction. If you had planned to grow your savings and now you're depleting your savings to invest in yourself, That would be that kind of energy. And so you can work through it. It's a square. It's not impossible. It just requires you to work through it. And then on the 9th, we'll have Mars enter the sign of Taurus. So that's going to happen at 12:35 in the morning Eastern time. When this happens, let me talk about Mars and Taurus. So Mars is the planet of action. Taurus, a very grounded, practical energy, focusing on what you value. And so you can already kind of see the action that you're taking. It's very grounded and it's focused on what it is that you really want here, what it is that you value the most. This Mars and Taurus will be conjunct Chiron in the sign of Aries. So Chiron is the wounded healer. So these are wounds that have been coming to the surface in the sign of Aries. Aries wants you to take some sort of action here, some sort of healing action. And where this impacts you in your birth chart, we've got Mars and Taurus sitting in your house of home. We have Chiron and Aries sitting in your 3rd house. And so if there's something here where you were maybe afraid to speak up and really voice something connected to your home life, or there's something here, there's some sort of action that you're taking in your home life that kind of gives you that confidence or allows you to really stand up for yourself, speak up for yourself. I'm trying to think of how else you could interpret that 3rd house energy when it comes to wounds. It's almost like if you're a shy person, having a voice, being heard, speaking up, really standing up for yourself. And this is giving you that opportunity to heal. 3rd house could also be neighbors. For looking at 3rd house, 4th house energy. So literally your neighbors are also included in that 3rd house. And so if there is some sort of wound that's been coming to the surface, you might take some sort of action here that can help heal some sort of wound there. We'll also have Mars and Taurus square the moon in Cancer. And so the moon in Cancer, it's a very deep, emotionally connected energy. The moon is the ruler of Cancer and it rules your emotions. Cancer is literally mother energy. We've got mother, Cancer, Capricorn, father. But with this moon energy in the sign of Cancer, this is sitting in your 6th house. So how do you feel about your daily routine? How do you feel about the way that you're living your life in general? Because the actions that you're taking in your home environment are creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to how you feel about your daily life in general. So again, you can work with this energy. It does require you to work. But it kind of makes sense though, because we're talking a lot about growth and expansion when it comes to your passions, your hobbies, maybe even having children or having more children, something along those lines. If you like your life the way it is right now and you're trying to make room for something else, that would create some sort of obstacle or challenge because now your life is going to be different. And that's what you would just need to work through. Mars and Taurus will also square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so again, the actions that you're taking in your home life are creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to the changes that you want to make to yourself. And these would be internal changes. Well, I'm getting this sense of like not being ready for something, that you're not quite ready to make some sort of change here, but you're actively making changes in your home environment. And so you're you just need to catch up as far as that's concerned. You need to make some sort of modification to who you are or to how you see yourself, because Pluto is that death and rebirth energy. So there might be something here that you just need to release. This could be the obstacle or challenge that's presented. And then on the 17th, we actually have 2 planets move into the sign of Cancer. The first one is Venus. That happens at 2:20 in the morning Eastern time. So we have Venus in Cancer, but we still have the sun in Gemini. They're conjunct because the sun is actually getting ready to move into the sign of Cancer. It's leaving Gemini here in a couple of days. But because they're in different houses, it impacts you a little bit differently. So Venus in Cancer is it's a very grounded type of love. It is deep emotional feelings that are based in reality. They're very practical. They're focused on what you value here. That is sitting in your 6th house. So when it comes to what you value and how you feel about your daily life, conjunct the sun in Gemini, this would relate to how you want to express yourself, maybe through your passions, your hobbies, short-term relationships, kids. All of that is being highlighted here. We'll also have Venus in Cancer conjunct Mercury in Gemini. More conversation as it relates to passions, hobbies, short-term relationships, all of those things, maybe even children here. With this emphasis on really thinking and feeling how do you feel about your daily life? What here do you want to communicate about your daily life that you really enjoy, you want to hold on to? That's the Venus energy. Venus wants to bring things together, wants to hold on to things. That's different from the Mars energy that's ready to kind of split and move things apart. So just keep that in mind. We'll also have Venus in Cancer trine the moon in Libra. The moon in Libra. So this is all about emotional balance. And for you, this is sitting in your 9th house of growth and expansion. This is seeing things clearly, seeing the truth of the situation. This is a very easy flowing energy. So when it comes to taking what you value in your daily life, there's this easy flowing energy to grow and expand and keep things in some sort of balance here. What I really love about this specific trine, Venus is the ruler of Libra. So you really have balance coming out on both sides of these planets talking to each other. So Venus, the ruler of Libra, the moon in Libra, really looking for the same thing. Cancer, all your emotions, moon, your emotions. So it's really that energy amplified. It's really about keeping that emotional balance and holding on to that while you grow and expand and hold on to the things that you value in your daily life. We'll also have Venus in Cancer, sextile Mars in Taurus. Venus in Cancer, again, your daily life, what it is that you value, what you want to hold on to, it's creating some sort of opportunity for you to take some sort of action in your home. That Mars in Taurus, grounded, practical action in your home environment. What is it that you want to accomplish here? Really, it's going to come down to what it is that you want to hold on to and maybe what it is that you need to release. Because Venus is not just the ruler of Libra, it's actually the ruler of Taurus as well. So you can already see where all of this is going. It's a lot of grounded, practical energy, completely aligned with Venus. And then we'll have Venus in Cancer, square Neptune in Pisces. This is where those squares are going to keep coming up because we have a lot of planets that are in close proximity to each other. There's going to be a lot of squares happening here, specifically to the Neptune in Pisces over the next few days. So when it comes to your financial security, whatever investments you want to make, whatever savings account you want to have, just kind of your relationship with the money that you currently have, there is some sort of obstacle or challenge that stems from whatever it is that you're growing and expanding in your daily life, whatever it is that you're holding on to from a value standpoint, what you want to value here, it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge. So kind of going back to the earlier where if you're trying to make room for something else in your life, a child, hobbies, things like that, that might require more money and that might deplete your savings. That again would be that obstacle or challenge. And then a couple hours after Venus moves into Cancer, we have Mercury move into Cancer. So that's going to happen on the 17th at 5:07 in the morning Eastern time. And because those two planets are now in the same sign, there's a lot of synergy here, 6th house energy when it comes to your daily life, communicating how you feel, understanding the impact of what it is that you value within your daily life. All of that is being highlighted. Mercury in Cancer conjunct the Sun in Gemini. Conversations here, you can see the conversations on both sides. Sun is self-expression, Mercury is communication. When it comes to how you feel about your daily life, what is it that you are also discussing when it comes to your hobbies, your kids, passions, short-term relationships. So that energy is really blended. Then we'll have Mercury trine the moon in the sign of Scorpio. The moon in Scorpio. So this is emotional transformation. So the moon is your emotions. Scorpio is all about transformation. This is actually sitting in your 10th house of career. So the conversations that you're having around how you feel about your daily life, we just had Venus move into this energy. So what it is that you value in your daily life, it is easily flowing with whatever changes might be happening within your career. And it's your interpretation of those changes that are happening within your career, because this is how you're emotionally processing any kind of transformation there. And then we'll have Mercury in Cancer, square Neptune in Pisces, again with that square energy. Obstacles or challenges when it comes to your personal savings, whatever's been coming to light, whatever conversations you're having, whatever it is that you want to grow and expand, it does look like there's going to be some sort of maybe temporary hit to your finances, something here that you would just need to be able to work through. That's where you can work through it. Again, it's more of that Saturn type of energy. That's what a square is. It's that you can do it. You just have to put the effort in. Then we'll have the sun enter Cancer. So that's going to happen on the 20th at 4:51 in the afternoon Eastern time. We just had Mercury and Venus move in to Cancer, and now we have the sun. So all three of those are in a conjunction. They're talking to each other pretty much throughout the month of June. So a lot of conversations here, all about your daily life, daily routine. What do you value? What do you want to keep? How do you feel about the entire situation? Maybe the changes that are taking place, how does that feel? We just had the moon in Scorpio impacting your 10th house. How do you feel about that impacting your daily life? We'll also have the sun square Neptune in Pisces. Again, with your daily life, and whatever is happening within your daily life is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge towards your finances, that financial security that you're looking for. Whatever it is that your goal is with your personal finances, is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge here. And then we'll have the full moon in Capricorn. So that is going to happen on the 21st at 9:08 p.m. Eastern time. And so when this happens, we've got the sun at one point and we've got the moon at the opposite point in the sky. And so this one is sun in Cancer, moon in Capricorn. Lots of highlighting your feelings. And how different are those feelings from how you feel about a sense of duty or responsibility, because that's the moon in Capricorn energy. And so there's a push-pull taking place here. Sun in Cancer, your 6th house of daily routines. Highlighting here, how do you feel about your daily life? Maybe expressing how you feel about your daily life is opposite this sense of duty and responsibility you feel to yourself. Because that moon in Capricorn is sitting in your 12th house, and that is your inner self. It's your subconscious. It's the conversations you have with yourself. And so there's a disconnect between the two. But you can find a way to make this work. You can find that happy medium. It definitely exists. You just have to work for it. And because we've had the sun in Cancer, but we've had Venus and Mercury. And so the three of those have been in constant conversation. And with this full moon, the moon is going to be opposite those. So we already know that the sun here, because it's literally the day after the sun moves into Cancer, so not a lot has changed. So we'll have the sun conjunct Mercury, it'll be conjunct Venus. So again, lots of conversations around how do you feel about your daily life? What is it that you value in your daily life? How is that in opposition to this sense of duty and responsibility that you feel towards yourself? And really, again, your inner self. And so it could even be, highlighting some sort of structure that you put into place for yourself, like a certain way of thinking or a certain way of behaving. And there's something here that it's very internal to you. Capricorn is about structure as well. And I'm definitely getting that structure type of energy as I'm sitting here articulating it. So there could be some sort of structure that you previously put in place to help you out, to get you to where you are right now. And what this sun is doing in the sign of Cancer is highlighting that you don't need it anymore. And so that would be an opposition that you need to kind of work through. But what's really interesting about this specific full moon in the sign of Capricorn, and spoiler alert, we actually have another full moon in the sign of Capricorn in July. That's very unusual that we have two in the same sign, but we do. And so this one here specifically will have the sun in the sign of Cancer. We've got the moon in the sign of Capricorn, but we've got Neptune and Pisces in the mix. Each one of those individually is creating an obstacle or challenge to Neptune and Pisces. So the sense of duty that you have to yourself is also creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to maybe that financial freedom, financial security, savings plan, whatever it is that you want here, as far as holding on to what you value, increasing your savings, things like that. So not just what you feel within your daily life and all the changes that might be taking place there, but it's also your sense of duty to yourself that's creating this square. Then we'll have the moon trine Mars and Taurus. Mars and Taurus, again, sitting in your 4th house of home. This indicates that this sense of duty that you have to yourself aligns with what actions you're taking within your home environment. I like this. This just means that you're honoring yourself, that you have these maybe structures that are in place that have really worked for you. This is a trine energy, so it's an easy flowing energy. So whatever actions you're taking, whatever it is that you might be letting go of, is in alignment with what you've already set up for yourself. This sense of duty that you already have to yourself. This is just you being very authentic. We'll also have the moon in Capricorn trine Chiron in Aries. So these structures that you've put in place, whatever you've done so far for yourself to get you to where you are right now, is actually going to easily flow with whatever wound has been coming to the surface. This wound has been coming to the surface. You might have started noticing this in the beginning of April when we had the eclipse in the sign of Aries on April 8th, because there was a very strong Chiron energy included in that eclipse, because you had the sun, the moon, and Chiron all in the same degree point. And now it's giving you some sort of way to heal. This is an easy flowing type of energy. So it's giving you this opportunity, and it's not really an opportunity because it's going to easily flow. This isn't going to require any effort on your part at all, but it's going to help to heal whatever wound has been coming to the surface. It could even be related to communication. So if you've been afraid to speak up or feel like you're always being misunderstood, that could be highlighted here. That could be a wound that you are healing with something that you've already done for yourself, or something that you've already set into motion for yourself. And then at the end of the month, we actually have Saturn station retrograde in the sign of Pisces. This is where you can start to kind of clear up some of these squares that have been occurring throughout the month. So this is going to happen at 3:06 in the afternoon Eastern time. Saturn is all about work. Saturn in Pisces is literally about working for your dreams. Up until now, Saturn really probably more outward facing. So the work that you're doing is very external to who you are. But with this retrograde indicates that you're going to start working on yourself. Quite literally, you're going to start working on yourself in order to achieve your dreams. And for you, again, this is sitting in your second house of personal finances. What modifications need to happen here? What work do you need to do on yourself in order to get yourself either back on track with that savings plan that you have, or set up that investment account that you've been wanting to do that maybe you weren't prepared to do earlier, weren't able to do for some sort of reason? This Saturn retrograde in Pisces will also trine Mercury in Cancer. And so this is where you can start to see what work you need to do on yourself, and even start working on yourself to help get you to where you want to be from a daily life standpoint. How do you feel about everything? What is your understanding of the situation? Because that's that Mercury Cancer. How do you emotionally feel about it, your daily life? And now you can start to see where you can work on yourself to overcome these squares, these challenges, these obstacles that have been coming to the surface. Saturn retrograde will also trine Venus in Cancer, because again, Mercury, Venus are both in Cancer and they're near each other. And so it's the same type of energy with this focus on holding on to what you value. Is there something here? I'm getting like an excess spending. So there could be something here where maybe you are changing your spending habits because you're holding on to something different here in your daily life. What maybe you did have something that required like a one-time upfront investment. Now you're in this opportunity to kind of work on yourself to say, okay, well, I did spend all that money, but now I'm going to rein it in, and I'm not going to spend money like that anymore. I'm going to focus on rebuilding my finances and things like that. But it's still honoring what you value within your daily life, because you already did what you needed to do. And that could be something that's coming to the surface. That's a hypothetical, but it feels like that would be the type of energy that's taking place, where you're just given this opportunity, in the sense that Saturn retrograde in Pisces is really going to have you looking inward to make some sort of changes here. And then Saturn retrograde in Pisces will also sextile Mars in Taurus. So here it is actually creating another opportunity for you to take some sort of action at home. Is it related to your spending habits? Because the Saturn retrograde is all about your money for you, and sextile Mars in Taurus. What changes need to take place within you? Maybe this would be Mars in Taurus. Let's say that there's something in your home that you want to sell because you just don't need it, you don't value it anymore. It doesn't have the same worth that it used to. This would be some sort of opportunity to sell something. That would be the Mars energy. Mars likes to separate things. That would be you getting rid of something here in order to maybe increase your finances here, find a way to work on those finances. So Aquarius, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.